Baseball is officially back today, especially if you're a Minnesota Twins fan. Pitchers and catchers have reported. They were like the last team to do so, but they have reported today to Florida, where it is bright and sunny and nice, and we had a snowstorm here for 5 to 6 inches of snow in Madison, Wisconsin. Crazy how things are working in the world right now in February, but we are excited. Baseball is officially back. So if you are not familiar with what I do here on this channel, I talk about baseball in general, but I am a Twins fan. I'm also a Marlins fan, so we're going to be doing what we did back in 2019 this year again, where we are going to be covering the Twins pretty much daily, at least. And of course, when other news breaks, trade rumors happen, we'll talk about it on this channel as well. But hopefully, if you are a Twins fan, you will stick around because we are going to be talking about the Twins this year. And specifically in this video, we are going to be talking about the pitching, of course, because pitchers and catchers reported today, and how cool I think this Twins team have the opportunity for success. And I think this season, from a pitching perspective, overall, I think they will have a really great season. But I think it's so cool that the Twins finally have a good rotation to make something happen, to complete their team. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, just going over some of those guys. But again, if you do like baseball or like what I'm doing here, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. So let's get into this video. Like I was saying, the Twins have a really cool opportunity to do something I think that they haven't done in a while, and that is be a really well-rounded team, from starting pitching to bullpen to hitting to power to contact to speed. Every single aspect of the team is covered in 2023. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to go win the World Series. I would like to say that they're going to win the AL Central. It depends on how, the White Sox do this year. Of course, the Guardians won it last year with a really, really young team. They didn't make a ton of moves. Either team didn't make a ton of moves, and I think the Twins really improved their team this offseason. I think they have the best chance to win the AL Central. That's a different video, but they have a completed team this year, okay? And, I think it started back in 2019. I mean, even if you want to look back to like 2015, when they really sucked, right? They were the bottom of the barrel. They were just getting guys like Kepler and Sano and Polanco, right? And Buxton, right? Those guys were finally making the majors, right? Took a couple of years, and in 2019, I would say they had their full first opportunity to be good. They set the home run record. They won 100 games. They were the AL Central champions. They did everything right except pitch well enough to obviously beat the Yankees and then move on in the playoffs. And it kind of just went stagnant, right? Because they never have had the depth of pitching that they needed. This is the year I think they finally get it together. And maybe you're like, why wasn't it last year, right? The Twins, they've had this offense for a while, right? Buxton especially has led this core group. Nelson Cruz, Miguel Sano, Kepler when he was good in 2019. Polanco's always been okay. All of those guys have been good. The pitching is always what has struggled. And last year, the offense was still there for the most part. I mean, Kepler and Gary Sanchez maybe had some down years, but everyone else's OPS plus was about 100 or a little bit over. Like, they were fine on the offensive side of things. Pitching is where they struggled because of injuries. I'm going to list some names here that were one injured or two not on the team last year, and you can just see the improvement that they're making for 2023. Again, I don't know if this is necessarily a World Series team. I think they have a better chance in the AL than they do or would have in the NL, and maybe that's another video for itself as well, but this is a team that can compete on a pitching level. So let's go through some names here that are different or who were not here last year because of injury. So first name on the list is going to be Pablo Lopez. I'm just going down the roster here. Pablo Lopez, just traded for him from Miami. I won't go over any of these guys' stats in this video, but you basically understand if you're a Twins fan who I'm targeting here, you're excited about this guy, right? And probably the rest of these guys to come back. Pablo Lopez was not the ace in Miami, but he was really solid and really consistent, and that is the level of talent that the Twins have never had. They have never had a solid 2 or 3 guy the entire way through 1 to 5, right? They've always had their one guy. They've always maybe had their two guy. Maybe a two guy kind of springs up out of nowhere, right? But they've never had a solid rotation, and that starts with Pablo Lopez here because of the talent and the consistency that he brought over from Miami. Of course, you've got Jorge Lopez, the other Lopez, right, from Baltimore, who they got at the trade deadline last year. They've got him for another 2 years. He's going to be a serious contender in the bullpen to be good, right? Now we're getting away from, again, just going down the list here, but we've got a guy, a solid improvement to the starting rotation. Here's a solid improvement to the back end of the rotation. Of course, I think Duran is still going to be that guy in the bullpen that closes things down, but that's a really great setup, man. Or if you use Duran one day, you can go to Lopez the next day. Like, that is a pretty solid 1-2 punch coming out of the bullpen, and another guy that we're going to get full year of utilization out of him. I'm excited for that. Kenta Maeda is next on the list. He was our ace, I think, in 2020. I believe he almost threw a no-hitter. Like, this dude was good. And then he had Tommy John and got hurt, and we couldn't use him, right? So, really important for him to come back this year. Honestly, I haven't read a ton of reports if he will be on the starting day, opening day kind of roster. I don't know how he is still returning from his Tommy John, but at some point this year, if not right away, we will see him, and that is, again, an exciting improvement. I think he is starting. He will not be on the active starting rotation right away. He's still got a little bit of work to do, but that is pretty good. That we lost him all of last year, right? So already, you look at Pablo Lopez being that solid 2 or 3 guy probably in the rotation. Probably a 3. Now you've got Maeda. Like, you're going to run out of room on these guys to be the starter 5, okay? And we'll cover that in a second. Tyler Mahle. That's another name, right? I kind of lost him last year. And he started 23 games. We got him from Cincinnati again. We didn't get to utilize him for the full year. We traded for him. This is a guy who developed a new slider, and he will be in the starting rotation. I'm serious. He might be my favorite out of spring training here to be the top guy because of his electric fastball, his slider that he's been working on. We didn't have him for a full season last year, and I'll be honest, towards the end of last year, I kind of lost him. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know if he just fell under the weeds, and then some other guys just were kind of there. I didn't hear a ton about him last year. That's exciting. So I've just named 5 guys who are already an improvement from last year, and that starting rotation is going to be crazy. And then, I mean, you're looking at even at the rookies, right? So I think I named every single high-level player. Now let's talk about the rookies, right? You've got Louis Varland, who came up last year, got a little bit of a taste of what is to come. That is a guy who we can use out of the bullpen, who's going to be really good. And if not, I would say he's probably going to be a starter eventually, but I don't even know because you look at the starters that we have. Oh, Chris Paddack. I didn't mention Chris Paddack. We're going to not have him for a little while as well, but he's going to come back. He could be a starter. And again, I don't know where you put him because if you do put him in the starting rotation, the Twins have 8 starters. I'll cover those at the end here after I cover these rookies, but what are you going to do, right? You're going to have to move these guys to the bullpen. You're going to have to trade them. And then you talk about the rookies. Louis Varland, like I said, probably could be a starter at some point, but got a little taste of the major leagues. Did okay. I think he will make a pretty good reliever. I could see him really following the Jax route where he did really, really well, then got banged up a little bit. Not hurt, but just kind of roughed up in terms of stats. Gave up some runs here and there. I think Louis Varland, give him some time. I think he could be a really solid pick. And then Woods Richardson here. I'm excited to see this guy pitch. He is young. He is 23 years old. It's crazy that 2,000 babies are 23 now. He is going to be 23 this year, and for the whole season, he'll be 22, basically. So really, really crazy that he is going to be on the Major League roster. I expect big things from him. Another really, really young guy. Even Griffin Jax is young. I mean, Nolan Ryan. Joe Ryan is young. This is the future of the Twins, meshed with these guys who are still in their prime, like Lopez, I don't know, Maeda's probably getting a little bit older. Mahle is fine. All these guys, they're still in their prime, and they could still be really good. Sonny Gray, a little bit older on the veteran side of things, but is still really, really good. Like, he probably was our ace last year. And if you look at the rotation, I mean, Joe Ryan was probably, you go back and forth. But now you've got Joe Ryan. You've got Gray. You've got Lopez. You've got Maeda when he comes back. You've got Maile. You've got Bailey Ober. You've got Chris Paddock when he comes back. You've got, like, am I missing anybody else? I think that's 7 that I counted right off the top of my head. I might be missing one more. There you go, though. Like, that's 7, 8 guys, counting the 2 guys who could be injured right away. That's a solid 5, up to 7 guys that you're going to have at your disposal, right? You can do a lot with those guys. And they're going, I hope they stay healthy this year. If they do, that is a mean rotation. It's not the best in baseball, but if they are all that solid 2 to 3 level guys, yeah, they'll win some, yeah, they'll lose some, but they're going to be consistent. And with the firepower this offense brings, that is some exciting baseball to watch in Minnesota this year. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that gets you excited for baseball. Pitchers and catchers reporting today. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, if you want to keep up on Minnesota Twins news, starting today with spring training coming up in 9 days, and then of course the regular season, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, we'll keep you up to date with MLB news as it comes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.